Okay, so after I have my sketch, I'll go and make another layer. And what I'll do is find a color that I think will work well with the color in the image. So in this case, I'm just gonna pick like a red. I'll turn this into a clipping mask, and I will pick that red that I want, and I just go ahead, increase my brush all the way, and I just kind of draw on top. I guess I could actually just color fill the whole thing, although for some reason it doesn't want to let me. Sometimes it works. Anyways, just color it. I don't know why I do this. I've just been doing it the last few times I've done it, and it's been kind of fun. Then I'll combine it, and it's just a red layer, you know. If you want to change it back, you can. You just create another clipping mask and then do that. But what I do after that is I block out colors. So I pick a color that looks like that. In this case, it kind of looks like a deep purple or like a blue, like a bluish purple. I'd say this is more blue, this is more purple, more blue in the sun. I'm gonna go with something just on the purple edge. Whoa, that is huge. So this is where it does not need to be detailed or specific at all. I'm just following general shapes so I can outline the drawing for myself. And usually as I'm doing this, I'll realize that, you know, I've got a few things wrong. Like for instance here, oh my gosh, wait. Did I just find out you could increase or decrease the size of the reference? I didn't know you could do that. Bro, I feel like... Wow. Wait, how did I do that? Oh my gosh. Guys, I didn't know you could do that. Anyways, wow, that's gonna help me so much in the future. So here I noticed this particular piece. Notice how it comes down, it's very bright. I'm gonna color pick for this second so I can explain. It's really not that much more space than here, but I've provided more, like I've drawn more, so that's something I'll fix later. But right now I'm gonna go and pick all the colors, and then I'll explain what I do for the layers, but I'll probably fast forward in between. But yeah. So since this particular top is above the blue, I'm gonna go ahead and make another layer. And then it looks like, I wanna say it's almost like this color and also blue. Okay, so it's about this time that I usually stop with my color picking. Oh, actually, I'll go ahead and do the background first. So make sure that these are all behind each other. And then notice how that just kind of goes across. We're just going to pick a super light blue. Oops. Just goes across like here. Where's my phone? Okay, so I've just completed the background. I'm not going to do anything too crazy here. Just did a few lines, and in order to make it look blurred like the back, I'm going to go ahead and click on the effects thing, the effects setting, sorry. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on, I think it's this one. It'll only blur the layer that you're looking at. And I've also just noticed that it doesn't look like it's not angled the same way. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn it, make it a little bit bigger so it covers the whole thing. And honestly, that's good enough for me. I'm not going to have to change too much there because, or in the future, because I think it looks okay. So now what I normally do is I start to get into the details, which is both exciting and also very frustrating because it doesn't always turn out the way you want it to be. So I like to go in with the face first. I like to save everything else for last. So what I do here is I go and I create a new layer, and I make this a clipping mask. So this way, no matter where I draw, it's only drawing on the layer below. So this means I don't have to draw on anything else, which is great. And what I'm noticing, just looking in the camera, in my phone camera here, and also looking again now that all the colors are laid down, I notice that Logan is a lot more pink here than he is in my drawing. And also that his head is more angled this direction than this direction. So I think that's another thing I'm gonna alter. So with that, I'm gonna select all the layers, and then I'm gonna turn him just a little bit, like just enough. And I'll have to edit the way his shoulders move or are positioned as well, because I think both of them are a little bit too high. I'll move them down just a little bit. But yeah, so I'll go back to that face layer. You can rename the layers too, which took me a while to figure out. I think it's pretty obvious which layer that one is, but sometimes it helps, especially for the hair one, because it's kind of all over the place. But let me move this back kind of in the middle. It's going to be a lot of layer turning off and on, so sorry in advance when you won't be able to see anything. But now that I know that I can adjust that reference thing, whoa, that's like a game changer. Because look here. I mean, that's awesome. And then I can have, oh, what did I just do? I did something. Then I can have this on this side. All right. So I'm just gonna go into the details. So I like to pick colors I think I see places. So I see on the nose here. We're just gonna start with the nose as an example. The nose has a lot of pinks here and some purple on the darkest part. So what I'll go and do this is kind of like an addition to the base layer. I've been using the sharp render brush. It's the one I use for my Lando drawing. I like that one a lot. So I just go in and just start drawing the pinks that I see. And if I think that it's a little bit too pink, I'll change the color. And like here, this is more orange by his eyes, but like a dark, deep dark orange. So it's more like this color. Same with this side. Honestly, these eyes are a little bit uneven, so I'll probably move them as well too. But you'll see that even just some placement of some of these colors will drastically change the way that the drawing looks. So he's got a lot of pink undertones, I'm noticing now, that I didn't really notice when I was placing down what I thought was a warm color, but it actually turned out to be very yellow. So we're gonna stay more on like this half of the color wheel, just because of that fact. Also, like testing a color never hurts. This one could go here. And I'll usually start off lighter than what I'll end up with. And that's just because I start light and then I go darker. I don't know if that's necessarily the best way to do it. That's just usually what I end up doing though. And sometimes there's like a whole section that just ends up being one color. So then this is a lot lighter because his cheek is in the light. That's honestly too much. And we've got some orange here. His blonde hair makes it seem I think there's a little bit too much space between here, or between here and here. Because in the picture, it just looks like less distance. But again, I'm not 100% sure. So we're just gonna keep going with it for now and see what happens. So right now I'm getting a little bit frustrated that this color is so yellow. So I'm actually gonna go back to the layer that I was working on below. And let me adjust the lighting so that you can just see how yellow it actually is. But I'm gonna go ahead and change the color balance of it all, just so that it's a little bit more red. So that looks more like his undertones to me. At least like the lighter side of his undertones. Let me go ahead and lock that in. So that's a lot better, and you can just tell. Yellow, pink. Yeah. So that's a big improvement on color already. There's lots of yellow around his face, and that's because of his blonde hair. So I'd say this is really the color of his whole neck. I think I'm also drawing on the wrong layer. Okay, so here I've realized that his lips are too high, so I'm going to go ahead and copy these layers, or select these 2 layers. And I think there's like is it liquefy? Like I can move it down? No, that's not the right thing. Because I'm not sure exactly which command it is. I'm just gonna do this. Kind of looks like he's smiling and like he has a black eye, but as I go through, it'll get a whole lot better. One thing I'm going to do now is create another clipping mask, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this dark blue. I'm going to go ahead and paint on top of here just so it looks more like the logo and the hat colors. I'm only going to do it for the hat though. Oh, of course I missed, so let's do the top part first. That'll just make me feel a little bit better about the lines in general. But you can kind of start to see how it'll all take shape as I'm adding more color. So I'll just keep doing clipping masks and painting other parts. It looks like his ear gets even darker. And instead of getting darker in this direction, we're gonna go this direction because there's so much saturation in this image that we want to make sure we're capturing it all. I don't like this weird off color here, or these white colors. Another thing I like to do is test like what it would look like with the layers off or with the sketch off. And because we've barely done anything right now, no details, we're just starting to add a little bit of color, it looks so strange without the lines. So that's how you know that we need to add more layers. But eventually it'll get to a point where, like this one, let me get rid of the canvas, the reference, I didn't have many details, so when I got rid of the line, actually I'll go back to an earlier version I had of it. Well, it might have disappeared. Anyways, but you can see that with the detail and where, oh, my cat wants to say hi. If we remove, like, it's all about adding more detail. So this was a 3rd or 4th layer that I combined. But even like these small details here make such a difference as well. So it's all about continuing to add and continuing to add. I mean, you can even see here as well. And this one, it looks like I did work on the eyes a little bit on my other layer. But anyways, Logan is coming along. So all we got to do is keep adding and adding and adding, and eventually we'll get somewhere. Pumbaa, would you like to say hi? That's a no. Pumbaa, come say hi. Do you have words to say? You want to tell everybody bye-bye? This can be part 2. Say something. He's shy. Anyways, another part will come soon.